We can turn any NotebookLM notebook into a hyperlocal business directory. You can make a number of customizations for the individuals in your local area once you understand the fundamentals, so that when the individual clicks inside of the notebook, they will be able to find what they are looking for. And we can program the entire process in this free application without coding. We will demonstrate the entire process in this video. To start the process, you're going to create a new notebook. Assuming that you are doing this notebook and you're being paid by the individuals that are going to be part of your directory, what you're first going to do is you're going to enter the websites. You're going to click on this element and you will then be pasting in these links one at a time, and you will paste them as they come about or as they provide payment. We're going to search for small businesses in the Chicago area. And again, for the sake of example, we're going to ask for 3 specific businesses. We're then going to ask for NotebookLM to do the search. Again, we're just using the tools of NotebookLM in order to find websites for the sake of example. We're going to choose some of the businesses that are going to be direct and examples. We're going to add in sources on our own. We're going to add in websites here in this area. So we now have over 10 businesses listed here in NotebookLM. We're going to refresh the notebook. And the notebook now has the businesses listed as sources here in this area. When we add the businesses to the directory, we want to be able to give them a naming convention. And so we're going to take each and every one of the businesses that we have, and we want to give it a numbering convention. You would develop a numbering convention for the businesses that you would have in your directory. Now, one thing that you can do is you can go to an AI and you can ask an AI how you should develop a numbering convention so that you'll be able to add other services to the directory. And you want to do that from the very beginning. We're going to take a screenshot of the directory as it is. We're then going to head to Gemini. So we're going to place a plain language prompt inside of Gemini, and we're going to attach the NotebookLM notebook. And we're going to ask for Gemini to suggest a numbering convention, even though we don't really know all of the applications and all of the elements we're going to use in order to run the directory. What we want the AI in Gemini to do is to suggest other naming conventions. We did say that we have already started one naming convention. However, if Gemini has a better way to do this, we want Gemini to state that. So we're going to copy the entire prompt. We're then going to head to Gemini. We're going to attach the NotebookLM notebook. We want to use the highest level prompt that we have, and we're then going to paste in our prompt. Gemini will then come up with several options, and you can use any one of those options to run your notebook based on how you want to do it. At the very end of the output from Gemini, we are asked a question. We're asked a question about what our intent is for the directory. We wrote back to discuss in plain language exactly how we wanted the directory to work. And then what Gemini did was it suggested a simple way of being able to create a numbering convention. It suggests a tier code, a sequence, and then the business name. This will make it easy for us to add on and gamify the directory when we are ready for that point. So we're going to use the numbering convention given to us by Gemini here in this specific output. This convention will also make it easy for us when we add services. So we're going to start out assuming that none of the businesses that we have signed up have tier 2 or tier 3 services. We're going to set them all up as tier 1 services, and we're going to set them up in a specific sequence. Typically, you would be adding the businesses one at a time, and you will then be able to add the sequence as you add them. And so our naming convention and our numbering convention is now in place. Now that we have structured the businesses inside of NotebookLM, we need to do some consideration as to whether our directory is going to be hyperlocal, where distance won't matter, so that the only people using the directory will be within a certain range, or we can provide a prompt template for an individual to ask in a specific way about directions. And this is something that you can ask Gemini depending on how your directory works. We did this within Gemini based on this directory. You'll want to ask Gemini, in a sense, how you want to do this part of the process. And here's the plain language prompt that we use to query Gemini about what it is that we should do. And so basically we wanted to know if the directory should be hyperlocal, that's the best way to use NotebookLM, or if there was a way to program custom instructions to account for directions and or location. Now, based on the notebook that we have attached to our conversation, Gemini gives us three scenarios. One is just to use hyperlocal as a way of managing the directory. Another was geotagging, which would be more coding. And then we can also provide a starter prompt for the individual to use when they want to know about distance. So we can actually use both 1 and 3. We can add in our prompt to the configuration instructions. What we can also do is we can make sure that the directory itself is considered to be hyperlocal. So we're only going to get businesses within a certain location for this specific notebook. We can do other notebooks for other areas that are hyperlocal. Gemini suggests, based on our configuration, that we lean into hyperlocal. We're going to copy our prompt, and we're then going to head to a new conversation. We now need to factor in configuration and customization. So what we're going to do in this prompt is we're going to ask for Gemini to give us the configuration instructions, the customization instructions, and then the image creation instructions. We're also going to ask for Gemini to then incorporate the prompt template that we just picked up from Gemini. Gemini will then give us the customization prompts. So we're going to customize the custom notebook summary. We're going to copy the code and we're going to head to the custom notebook summary. We're going to click customize and we're then going to customize the notebook summary. We're then going to click done. And you'll see that your front page, which will tell the individual using the directory how to use it, will be present. We will then customize the entire notebook. We're then going to copy it. We're then going to head to NotebookLM. When we get to NotebookLM, we're going to configure the notebook. We're going to click custom. We're going to paste in the prompt. We will then click save. You will then want to F5 and refresh your notebook. If you want to change the name of your directory, you can do it here. So in this case, we can change the directory. For the sake of this video, we're not going to include the data schema, but this is something that you'll need and want to do if you want to have a distance component inside of your hyperlocal directory. So the instructions start with typing in the words directory. And you will then see that the way that we programmed the directory actually works. So we're going to now type in something that we are looking for. And we will then click enter. For now, we're just going to say that location is not important. And our directory does come up with a business that's in our directory. The individual can click the link to go to their website, and they can then start a new search to look for something else. Obviously, there are many customizations and many additions that you can make to this local directory. But we have set up the basic element for an individual to search and find a business that we have set up here in our directory. Okay, so thanks, and I will see you in another video.